Everyone loves a sleeper. Name code right here. Dustin right here. 2015 sleeper / undervalued. Before we get into it though, who wants a free t-shirt?
Everyone
loves those. It's easy, but between now and the start of the season on September 10th, go to DraftKings, use the promo code FST, sign up, deposit at least $5. We'll get in touch with you, get your shirt size, send you a shirt. That's a gift from us, and DraftKings will give you a free entry into a cash game that you can use now or once football starts. That's what you call a win-win situation. Kick us off. Number one sleeper.
Alright, so talking about sleepers, the first guy I'm going to talk about is Joseph Randle, and here's why. Everyone knows DeMarco Murray's gone, but that Dallas O-line you gotta love. You gotta love whoever's running behind it, and a lot of people thought it was going to be McFadden, but let's be honest, Randle's been in the system, and it's McFadden. He always gets hurt, and even when he's been healthy, it's not like he's been the greatest player of all time. So we really believe that Randle's going to get the starting gig and run with it, where McFadden's going to play more of the complementary role. Therefore, we think Randle is actually going a little bit later in drafts than he should, so we're drafting him as the starting running back for the Dallas Cowboys. Great offensive line.
Next, we got Tevin Coleman. I mean, this guy is... His highlight reel is the most impressive highlight reel I've watched in a long time. And honestly, I just see Adrian Peterson when I see him run, just how he hits the hole and just go. I don't really have that much confidence in Freeman. He's not as big, but just his style of running and he reminds me of AP a little bit. And I just don't trust Freeman. You know, I just really think, you know, if they trusted Freeman, I don't think they would have drafted Coleman. I think it's going to be a timeshare from the beginning, and I think Coleman will slowly take over as the year goes on. And he's going late enough in drafts where he's a good gambler.
All right, the next thing I'm talking about is wide receiver Charles Johnson for the Minnesota Vikings. And I don't really get it because a lot of people are really, really loving Teddy Bridgewater this year, but this guy isn't getting his due with the love. I mean, granted, his numbers aren't great because the first half of the year he didn't even play really. Second half of the year he had some ups and downs, but he did have some big games. So he has the potential. He is the starting wide receiver. And if you're liking what Minnesota's doing on the offense, because Adrian Peterson being back is going to, in theory, bring up the safeties and open it up, Charles Johnson's the guy that I'd be grabbing 100% on the Vikings. I like him.
Next, we have a guy who I probably never thought would be on this list, but Eli Manning. You know, here's the thing with Eli. You know, bit of a rocky start last year with the new offense, but got things going towards the end of the year. You know, you look at his receiving weapons now.
Well, that's dirty.
With Odell Beckham, and they're going to get Victor Cruz back, and still got Randall. I mean, that's a pretty dirty trio that he's got on his hands. And let's not forget about Shane Vereen. That guy is going to add a lot of versatility to that offense. Second year that running the new offense now, I think Eli's pretty easily a top 10 fantasy
No, we got him inside the top 10. I argued,
and he's not being drafted as such.
I argued, but I do like him. He is being such undervalued. So let's just talk about the compliment to Eli. Let's talk about Victor Cruz, because he's getting drafted so late in drafts. I mean, right now, if you look at him, you're thinking, okay, Odell Beckham Jr. is the man out there, obviously. Then Randall's really being drafted as the number 2, leaving Victor Cruz out. But even if Cruz plays in the slot more, you gotta love this guy. I mean, before Beckham, he was getting over 120 targets. Now, that's not going to happen because he's not the number 1 option, but he's also not going to have the best corners on him. And he is still going to be an explosive deep threat. They're saying everything's great as he's coming back from the injury. So I expect Victor Cruz to be, healthy he's a little guy. Hope healthy all year, but this injury not to bother him and him to look pretty good for the 2015 season.
Next, got another quarterback, Ryan Tannehill. Same thing with Eli in terms of just, he should be being drafted as a top 10 quarterback, but he's kind of right on the cusp there, not really getting the respect that he deserves. He was a top 10 quarterback last year in fantasy. A lot of people don't realize that. He gives you a nice bonus with his legs.
That's what I love about him.
And the Miami offense is headed in the right direction. Yes, you lose Mike Wallace, but you replace him with Kenny Stills and you get Jordan Cameron. He's got enough weapons.
They got the rookie Parker.
They got Parker, who should be healthy right around the start of the season. He's got enough weapons to be productive. Again, he should be being drafted as a top 10 quarterback.
And one weapon that Dustin didn't mention, we didn't play it this way, is Jarvis Landry, wide receiver for those Miami Dolphins. And he's another guy that we really like, and he is really undervalued, especially in PPR leagues. So in the standard leagues, so if you have the pre-rankings and they're ranking everybody, he's dropped pretty low. but in PPR, he should be bumped up. I mean, you look at him last year, he had 84 catches, off of 112 targets, he had 5 touchdowns, so he's never going to be a huge touchdown guy, but could he break 100 catches this year? I think he is a late round guy that could break 100 catches. He's going 91 overall right now, so you gotta love that in PPR leagues.
Next we got Golden Tate, and I think
you explain this, young man.
I will explain this. And
he's a sleeper.
The stat that everyone's throwing around is what Golden Tate did when Calvin Johnson was out. And I understand that, but he's being drafted way too low. I mean, he had 99 catches and 1,300 yards. I mean, if we're drafting him as that type of receiver, he'd be going in the 2nd or 3rd round. But he's going way too late because the odds of Calvin getting banged up again, I feel, are pretty high. Even if he doesn't, Golden Tate would have had really good numbers, even if you had taken those 3 big games that he had and reduced them down to just normal games for him. And I just think he's not getting the attention that he deserves. And another thing with him is his yards after the catch were among the top 5 in the league.
You gotta like that.
You gotta like that.
Big play,
big play potential with Golden Tate. He's getting hated on too much just because of that one statistic.
Yeah, and remember, this show's really sleepers / undervalued, so if we think they're going a little bit later than they should, they can make the list. We understand everybody knows who Golden Tate is, but we assume. Alright, last guy, everybody knows who it is, but probably won't get drafted in a ton of leagues, especially 10-team leagues, but we think he should, even as a QB2, and that's Jameis Winston. I really like everything about this kid, and as far as his college film for NFL ready, you always hear that, it's kind of obnoxious, but it's true. This kid's NFL ready, has a big arm, but what I love the most about him, he's throwing the ball to Mike Evans and Vincent Jackson. Rarely do I remember a rookie coming in and having 2 monster targets like that right off the top. I think that he's going to be a very solid QB2, borderline QB1, and in 2 quarterback leagues, I absolutely love this kid.
And the last guy that I got is Martellus Bennett, tight end for the Bears. I know a lot's going to be talked about with the new offense. You're a little bit worried about what Bennett's going to do. But in terms of looking at the tight end position, he's still one of the safest bets in terms of just getting a guy that's going to get 70-plus catches, 800-plus yards, and a handful of touchdowns. And with Marshall gone, you got to think that Bennett's going to get at least a couple more touches. I mean, I know they got the rookie out there. They still got Alshon Jeffrey, but Bennett is going to be a very big part of that offense, and I just think people are too worried about the new offense. They're more worried than they should be.
So again, check the other rankings videos. There's going up. Go on our site. We got the rankings. Go on the forums. Talk about stuff. And don't forget about DraftKings and get your free t-shirt.
Rankings are up. Top 150 cheat sheet. You're going to want to print that off for your draft.
DraftKings, promo code FST. There's a little card. Link in the description. Good stuff. Help us out. We're just the little guy. We do this for you. For you and